From Rob Lowe making a tape with underage girls, to Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on the Oscars stage, these are the biggest scandals in Hollywood history. Starting off with Rob Lowe and the infamous tape. It might be hard to imagine now, but there was a time before YouTube, and videos of a celebrity doing something unsavory were considered totally scandalous, especially when the said video showed a 24-year-old teen heartthrob indulging in inappropriate stuff with underage girls. Rob Lowe, member of the infamous Brat Pack, videotaped himself with two 16-year-olds in a hotel room. When Lowe went to the bathroom, he quickly realized that the two girls he brought to the hotel had not only stolen some money, but also the tape. Yikes. I'm sure you can all think about the chaos that unfolded when the tape leaked.
But it's one of the reasons why I got sober. It's like I woke up one day and was like, what am I doing with my life? And I'm 29 years in, I don't like people talk about. I think it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Honestly, I do, because got me sober got me married. Been married 29 years, and I have two great sons. I don't think any of that happens without going through that.
At the time, Lowe denied knowing that the girls were underage, and the incident forced him into hiding. While there was plenty of scorn and humiliation, Hollywood never turned its back on the young actor. Lowe weathered the storm after his acting career stalled a bit, but only 2 years later, he mocked the whole thing himself in an appearance on Saturday Night Live. And just like that, he was back. Hollywood letting its own go with a slap on the wrist might be a recurring theme, because in 2001, fan fave Stranger Things actress Winona Ryder was once caught shoplifting and got away with a literal felony. During what must have been a routine shopping spree at Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills, Ryder was caught on camera ripping tags off several items of clothing and placing them in her bag. She managed to steal almost $6,000 worth of merchandise from the luxury department store. Her haul included cashmere sweaters, hair adornments, and several pairs of cashmere socks. She really loves her cashmere, huh? The actress was promptly arrested, and she eventually pled guilty after making a deal with the prosecutors, which had her serving 480 hours of community service, and her felonies being reduced to misdemeanors. The incident shocked her fans, with many refusing to believe that it was actually Ryder. They were convinced that it had to be some sort of misunderstanding. Even Ryder herself refused to speak about it for a long time. The entire incident slowed down her career for several years. But then, she made a major comeback after landing a role on Stranger Things. Hopefully, she's kept her hands to herself since then. Speaking of keeping to themselves, famed Hollywood director Woody Allen has also preferred to keep his private life on the down low. That is until he did the unthinkable. Woody Allen decided to marry his former stepdaughter. Allen's public life had always been marked with praise, thanks to a number of award-winning films he's made, but his private life completely exploded into utter controversy that would put any Hollywood script to shame. In a shocking turn of events, it was revealed that he was having a secret affair with his then-girlfriend Mia Farrow's adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn. It also didn't help matters that Soon-Yi was 35 years younger than him. Now, Farrow had several adopted children, and among them was Soon-Yi. As her mother, Farrow found out about their relationship in the worst possible way. She found intimate photos of her then 21-year-old daughter in Allen's home. Predictably, Mia and the entire world was shocked. But surprisingly, unlike most conventional Hollywood couples, and despite all the backlash from practically the entire world, Allen and Previn married in 1997, at ages 62 and 27 respectively. At the same time, their relationship was heavily criticized. Many saw Soon-Yi as a victim, whose relative innocence and youth were taken advantage of by a much older and more powerful man. The public accused Allen of grooming the young woman, and immediately made him out to be the villain in this cosmic-level soap opera of a story. Well, dating your girlfriend's adopted daughter is definitely gonna raise some eyebrows. Like Woody Allen, Kanye West is also no stranger to controversy thanks to his anti-Semitic remarks. West, who legally changed his name to Ye, seems to be getting a little more unhinged with each passing year. 2022 especially was a year unlike anything his fans, if he still has any left, have ever seen before. It all began when Ye presented the latest Yeezy collection at the Paris Fashion Week, with models wearing White Lives Matter shirts. As if that wasn't enough, he made several anti-Semitic remarks, further inciting public shock and outrage. Amidst the public fallout, his private Los Angeles-based school, the Donda Academy, was also shut down. Ye's comments got him suspended from social media, but as soon as he came back, he was right back at it with all the hateful rhetoric. Ultimately, he was dropped by brands he was working with, such as Gap, Balenciaga, and others. But it was the end of his partnership with Adidas that really left a gigantic dent in his wallet. Overall, he was convinced there'd be no consequences for him, but in fact, losing his Adidas partnership lost him his billionaire status. He could have at least thought about his own kids before making such terrible remarks. They say parents would do anything for their kids, including apparently cheating on college admissions. In 2019, headlines raged across the country, accusing Fuller House's Lori Loughlin and Desperate Housewives' Felicity Huffman of being involved in one of the nation's biggest college admissions scams. Along with several college officials and coaches, the alleged scam allowed parents to pay massive amounts of money in order to get their children into Ivy League schools and other elite universities. They would either be recruited as athletes who didn't really play or get their test scores altered without even taking the test in the first place. Reportedly, Loughlin and her husband, Massimo Giannulli, spent a whopping $500,000 on USC to ensure their two daughters would get a place. Huffman pleaded guilty to her charges and served a prison sentence with a grand total of 11 days. For Aunt Becky, it wasn't quite the same. Loughlin and her husband were slapped with additional charges of bribery and money laundering. While they initially pleaded not guilty, they soon changed their tune after realizing they could be facing 20 years in prison if convicted. Ultimately, the two agreed to a plea deal. Needless to say, Loughlin was fired from both the Hallmark Channel and Fuller House. But perhaps one of the biggest scandals to involve Hollywood didn't happen behind closed doors, but out in the open for everyone to see. Remember the 94th Academy Awards? Will Smith smacked the living daylights out of Chris Rock. Smith literally turned heads in a split second and had the audience, and the rest of us, gasping at his shocking act. On that terribly unfaithful day, Chris Rock made a joke about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, which prompted Will to leave his seat and go do the unthinkable.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay.
He went on stage and slapped the comedian and host right across the face. At the time, many thought that the incident was a PR stunt, a gag that had been pre-planned. But after Smith yelled from his seat to keep my wife's name out of your mouth, it became very clear that it was all very real. People in the audience were shocked and spoke against the violence that had just ensued on one of the nation's biggest platforms. Fellow comedians like Jim Carrey and Amy Schumer were very unsympathetic towards Smith. Eventually, when things settled down a bit, Smith was slapped only metaphorically, with a decade-long ban from all future Academy Awards events. Yes, even the Oscars. From Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on the Oscars stage to Rob Lowe making a tape with underage girls, those were the biggest scandals in Hollywood history.